Gentlemen, 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 gentlemen. It's time we all had a little discussion. And I am just so sick and fucking tired of all of the things that have been spread about what happened on the 10th. I'm fucking exhausted, guys. Who's to say? Maybe this 26-year-old kid has radicalized me a little bit. Who's to say that at any fucking point I could have been wrong all along? So, guys, I know I don't have access to my chat right this second. Give me just a minute. My phone's dead, just got off of work. I'm seeing I'll be seeing chat here in a sec. Here, hold on. Let me pull it up in a different browser so that way I can do this and not. Okay, nobody's here. All right. So today we're going to do a little bit of a deep dive. Let me get the links up. Huh. Steelman's still fucking. He's still trolling my shit. All right. Damn it. Damn it. All right, hold on. I'm sorry, boys. If you're here with me, give me just a sec. I'm tripping right now. All right. There we go. I'm going to pin that in chat. Gentlemen, I'm surprised Steelman's reaching back out to me. I hope he jumps up. I genuinely, I would really actually like to talk to him for a second. I got some fucking words to have with this fucking loser. Apparently he did that 2 days ago. So All right. I'm not expecting to get a bunch of people to watch this. It's late as fuck, okay? I get it. I understand. Here's the deal. There is something much bigger going on with this assassination than we think. I'm bought in. I'm bought in. It wasn't just some random dude that was fucking a tranny, okay? It wasn't. This is so much more than that. Aside from the fact that they were talking about it over a month in advance, to the day, something big is going to happen on September 10th. Charlie Kirk's coming to my school tomorrow. Let's just say something big is going to happen. And then immediately after, the same day, people are telling folks to not talk in public. They're telling folks to use Signal and PGP, which, if anybody knows, PGP is the same software we used to use when we'd order shit off the Silk Road. It's the same end-to-end encryption shit as Signal. Signal's just more streamlined in the way that you can utilize it. But I want to bring up this video. We may not watch all of it, but there's a part that he gets to. And it's funny because he says Israel had nothing to do with this, but then in the same breath, he talks about how the Mormon dad with the tranny son, or the tranny fucking son, excuse me, would turn his son in to catch $1.2 million payout from Bill Ackman. I'm a bartender. I don't bring this shit up at work. There are people actively fucking talking about this right now. This is not just some bullshit talking point. This is widespread. People actually fucking believe this. They're not talking about it because I'm saying it. It was a pretty slow night tonight. 3 people brought this up. Now, if you're not aware, I work in a bar that is in the Birmingham Loft District. It's a bunch of rich fucking libs. A bunch of people who are completely separated from anybody who could even possibly relate to the kind of people that watch people like Nick Fuentes. Who watch people like me. Right? They don't know I'm a YouTuber. Maybe if the channel grows, maybe one day, but they have no fucking idea I'm a YouTuber. I don't talk politics at work. That is a steadfast tenement that I have. If people try to talk politics to me while I'm at work, whether I agree or disagree, I always tell them the same thing. I'm not allowed to do that. My bosses are liberal as fuck, and they hate Trump. And as time has gone on, I've slowly but surely begun to agree with them that fuck Trump. And not in some gay ass liberal way, okay? I don't give a fuck about trans rights. I don't give a fuck about climate change. I mean, it's real. The world's getting hotter. What the fuck are your tax dollars going to do for it? Absolutely nothing. Okay? Nothing. I don't give a fuck about January 6th. I don't care about that bullshit. But gentlemen, it's time we had a fucking talk. It's time we had a talk about this man that pretends to be the leader of the free world and the leader of the Make America Great Again and America First Party. It's time we had a talk about where his real allegiances lie. It's time we had a talk about the events that preceded Kirk's assassination. It's time we had just a moment to open our eyes, look back over our shoulders, and realize we're getting fucked. Just a moment. So anyway. Alright. I'm just so fucking tired of it. I'm so tired of it, dude. I'm so tired of this. Of all of it. I really am. I have just it's become almost disheartening.
First, I want to talk about the official story. Full disclosure, I think this is the most likely explanation. And I will lay out the evidence and I will tell you why. So first, the official story. Question, who killed Charlie Kirk? We do have a person of interest. We do have a suspect that is in custody. As you know, his name is Tyler Robinson. And in the past 5 days, we've learned a lot about him. We've learned all of his information. We've learned about his online habits. We've learned about his boyfriend, his residence, his family, his collegiate record, academic record, all of it. And this is a story from the Washington Post today. This is about as crystal clear as it gets. I'll read it to you. This is the latest development. As of today, we have the most damning evidence yet that Tyler Robinson, the 22-year-old Mormon student who was studying in an apprenticeship to be an electrician, was the actual culprit behind Charlie Kirk's murder. We have evidence today from Discord and from a friend of his He admitted it. According to the Discord platform itself, as well as one of the recipients of this message, Tyler Robinson said the day after Charlie Kirk was murdered to a number of people that he did it. He confessed. He sent in a message to a number of close friends on the Discord platform. He said, "Bad news, guys. It was me." He said he would surrender himself to the authorities, and he thanked his friends for all the laughs and all the memories. 2 hours later, at about 10 o'clock local time on Thursday, he was taken into custody by the FBI. This was reported today by the Washington Post, and this is the story. It says, quote,
"Does any of this shit sound reasonable to you? Because as far as we fucking know, he hasn't confessed to a thing to law enforcement. After telling everyone I did it, I'm going to turn myself in. He hasn't confessed to a motherfucking thing.
The 22-year-old suspect in Charlie Kirk's killing appears to have confessed to friends in an online chat shortly before turning himself in to law enforcement, according to two people familiar with the chat and screenshots obtained by the Washington Post. He wrote, "Hey guys, I have bad news for you all. It was me at UVU yesterday. I'm sorry for all of this." The message was sent Thursday night, about 2 hours before officials said Robinson was taken.
I'm sorry. He just fucking gunned a man down. And he's saying I'm sorry? He just sat up on a rooftop and shot somebody while two different people screamed and shouted they claimed to be the shooter so he could get away. Let's be fucking honest here. Can anybody genuinely look at me and tell me that seems reasonable at all? Can anybody? And you guys know me. I'm not sticking up for the trans folks. But already, this seems like a load of horse shit. Already, it seems like a group of people want a group of people to point at another group of people. Whether they're fucking insane or not. How all of this falls together is so fucking sus. It's like a perfect silver platter of everything that would cause people to be violent, to get violent over it, to scapegoat a certain group of people. Isn't that interesting? But we'll go through all of this. I'm not only streaming while I watch this video. Just want to be very clear.
Into custody. A member of the group chat shared an image of the conversation with the Post and confirmed that it came from Robinson's account. Discord provided a copy of the message with the confession to authorities, according to a person familiar with the company's interaction with law enforcement. The message was sent from Robinson's account to a small private group of online friends. Discord has said that an internal investigation found, quote, no evidence that the suspect planned the incident or promoted violence on Discord. Authorities have said one of Robinson's family members reached out to a friend who then contacted law enforcement, saying that Robinson had confessed or implied that he committed the crime.
Now, isn't it funny that he said he was about to turn himself in, but yet somebody else, his father, turned him in?
Utah Governor Spencer Cox said over the weekend that Robinson's motive is still under investigation, but that the suspect appears to have held a leftist ideology. Officials say their interviews indicate that Robinson became more political in recent years and had criticized Kirk. The Discord conversation shared with the Post shows members of the group chat reacting to the shooting on Wednesday before the news broke that Robinson was involved. The group included about 30 people. The New York Times reported on a conversation in a different Discord chat group earlier the same day. In that conversation, Robinson joked that a doppelganger was trying to get him in trouble after law enforcement released images of a shooting suspect who resembled him. Cox confirmed the existence of that conversation on Sunday and said Robinson's friends did not believe it was actually him at that point. The person who provided other messages to the Post said they are from a different group. So this is the latest evidence. This is the most damning probably so far. We're getting them from two different sources. The Discord platform itself has turned over the messages to law enforcement, and this has been reported to the Post. So the actual platform, the medium, shared those messages. They had them internally, where Robinson texted a group. I don't know if this was in a group chat or in a server, but he said, it was me. I'm turning myself over. And apparently one of the recipients of the message independently, they also shared the screenshot with the Post, and both the platform and the recipient verified that it came from Robinson's account. There's also other people, different people, that were in a different server. We don't know if the confession was in a group chat or a server, but we do know that Robinson was in a different room, whether it's a server, a separate group chat, where he said that his doppelganger was trying to get him in trouble. He said he would not go to McDonald's. That's a reference to Luigi Mangione, who got caught at a McDonald's. So
Scott Hotvet, welcome in, my brother. Good to see you, man. Hey, we're getting them radicalized tonight, baby. I'm here. I've arrived. Can't do it anymore. I can't. I'm fucking done, dude. I'm done.
we're getting evidence from across the Discord platform that he was being a loudmouth. Now, this raises some questions. This is not as cut and dry as people say. And I said this on Twitter yesterday. There are some inconsistencies in this official story. And the biggest inconsistency about this confession, well, there's actually a couple. The first...
Good to see you too, brother. Thanks for being here tonight.
...is that on Thursday, Discord reported to law enforcement and publicly that this incident was not planned or discussed on the platform. Now they come out a week later and they present internally the messages that Robinson sent. Now, either somebody is lying here and Discord was withholding these messages, or did not find these messages, or maybe the messages were fabricated. But both cannot be true. Last week, Discord said there are no messages. Now they say there are messages. So what happened between Thursday and today that last week, when the news of Tyler Robinson broke, when he was named as a person of interest, Discord washed their hands of it and made a public statement saying there was no involvement, and now today they're turning over the messages. Now, there's many explanations for this discrepancy. One explanation is that the messages were planted or fabricated. Another, maybe Discord did not find them.
Isn't that interesting, though? That Discord has access to literally everything. Like, the company itself, it doesn't matter what kind of fucking gay-ass group you're in, or edgy fucking, like, super right-wing or super fucking left-wing group you're in, where you want to act like you're, you know, in the Patriot Front, or you want to act like you're in Antifa. It doesn't matter what kind of fucking gay-ass group you're in. They have access to every fucking thing you say, not just in your text, but also in voice. Every second. And they have the fucking balls to say, there's nothing. And then less than a week later, they come groveling to the government with something. Isn't that strange?
Maybe the most likely explanation is the nature of what Discord actually said, which is that the violence was not planned on the server. And maybe that's a weasel word. Although Tyler Robinson confessed shortly before being taken into custody, maybe there was no explicit reference to violence.
Paige, what's going on? Good to see you. Welcome in. Thank you for being here tonight. I do always appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, if you want to come up here and comment on this with me, tonight's going to be spicy, okay? I'm just letting you know. But Discord link is pinned in the chat. If you want to join the Discord, say something to me in chat, and I'll bring you in. But you're always good people. So, good to see you, Paige. Thank you.
Up until that point, or at all. That might be one account for the discrepancy, but we don't know. That is an open-ended question for the FBI and the Department of Justice to answer. That is something that must be answered as the investigation is conducted, as this legal process is underway. Here's the other problem. The story goes that Tyler Robinson returns home and apparently evades law enforcement completely. Now, that by itself is the subject of a lot of scrutiny. How was the prime suspect able to evade this manhunt carrying a long rifle? How was he able to evade law enforcement on a college campus, which is loaded up with not just cameras on the campus facilities, but also surrounded by a neighborhood that has doorbell cameras, and everybody has an iPhone these days. So there's a question of how did he evade in the first place? He returns home.
Totally understand. Totally understand. Wouldn't want you to... How's that? Do I still have an echo? What the fuck? Oh, wait, hold on. I understand what it is. 1 second. That should be it.
Apparently got away scot-free. Somehow was able to get home undetected, 3.5 hours away from the scene of the crime. So he leaps from the rooftop, runs through the neighborhood.
Totally get it, though, Paige. Totally get it. I understand. And you're in Canada, so you may not want to be a part of this one. I'm just giving you an honest heads up, okay? Things are about to get spicy. Just want to say.
We don't know how he gets from the neighborhood to his house 3.5 hours away. Presumably, he got to his car, maybe some accomplice, but he's able to get home undetected, escapes the radius of whatever manhunt was underway at that point, law enforcement checkpoints or surveillance, and immediately starts talking about it openly online? Does that sound right to you? If the first thing that happens...
How about that?
You successfully evade law enforcement, you got away, you're home free, you're going to get away with it maybe. There's apparently no video, no photos.
By the way, Nukes, it's good to see you, my man. Welcome in.
They have arrested several other suspects that are not you. You go and start mouthing off on Discord. Now, if he's a first-time murderer, you could say he might act in an irrational way. But certainly that is an irrational way to behave. There's an explanation for that. 22-year-olds that commit a murder in cold blood and then become the subjects of the manhunt, maybe they self-report, maybe they get nervous. But people that carry out a sophisticated attack like that without being apprehended or detected and able to evade law enforcement, does someone like that get nervous in that way? It's another good question. Now here's the bigger question. Since he has been taken into custody, he has not confessed and will not cooperate with law enforcement. This is another story, I believe from the New York Post. It says, quote,
"What's up, Michael Hatch? Good to see you, man. Welcome in. Welcome in."
Quote, not cooperating.
I would like to see the further info that ABC presented 12 hours ago.
With authorities and has not confessed to carrying out the shooting, according to Utah's governor. The governor said among those cooperating with authorities was Robinson's roommate, who is also his boyfriend. He said the partner, Lance Twiggs, was transitioning from male to female. When asked by CNN, said that authorities do not yet know if that is relevant to the investigation. Cox added that the partner did not have any knowledge about the alleged shooting and has been incredibly cooperative and was working with investigators.
Of course, bro. Things are going good. I hope you're doing well, too.
So the killer comes home, mouths off to his Discord friends, confesses, turns himself in, and then shortly after turning himself in, does not confess to law enforcement and does not cooperate?
You got me on Discord page.
So he apparently confessed to his friends in writing, confessed to his father.
The only reason I'm watching this is because it poses some very poignant questions. Okay? Very poignant fucking questions. And it's the kinds of questions that I think people really should be asking about all of this. I'm really not buying the narrative that has been spun from this. I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to stick up for trans people. We'll look that up in a second. We'll read through that whole thing. Thank you, Paige. I appreciate that link. I'm not trying to vanguard an ideology that I detest and I think needs to be ridded in our society. But it does pose some very good questions. There is no denying that. And I'm not even here to pontificate on the answer to these questions. I'll leave everyone to do that on their own. But I think it's pretty fucking important that we ask these questions.
Who turned him in with his cooperation, but now will not confess to law enforcement. So when did he change his mind and why? Why was he confessing in writing, which you have to know will be used against you? It's the internet.
Scott, that's fine, man. Please don't feel pressured to stick around. I can manage chat if you need to go sleep, bro. It's all good, my friend.
It's in writing. Confessed to his father, turned himself in voluntarily, although the initial story is that he was on suicide watch, contemplating suicide before he was turned in. Apparently now they say he voluntarily gave himself up. Now he won't admit it or cooperate. And let's now talk a little bit about the motive. They say that inside this community where he allegedly confessed to all of his friends, they were horrified. He said that, rather, the sources say in the Washington Post that in this group chat or server where he confessed to the killing, they said that the other members of the group chat were expressing their horror at Charlie Kirk's death. There were quotes from other members that said he didn't deserve it.
Nuxus, we don't care what Marilyn says here.
We're praying for his family. He might have had bad opinions, but he didn't have that coming to him. They say that the transgender boyfriend was also appalled at the violence. Now there's explanations for this too. Are they engaging in ass covering mode? Did they see what happened and feel the need to give themselves an alibi? Maybe they had instantaneous regret. Maybe the transgender boyfriend heard death penalty.
Marilyn isn't mad at me. She acts like she has no idea who I am. We've debated several times on panels. It's funny.
And then sought to
But hey, bro, I'm nobody. I really am. So I'm not even trying to act like I'm somebody. I'm just saying.
Cooperate, or maybe was threatened with charges if he did not cooperate. Perhaps the suspect changed his tune when the death penalty came into the equation. These are possible explanations, but at this point, that's all they are, is contingent explanations. They are by no means definitive, and by no means can we assume these things. All we know is that there are a lot of discrepancies about the story.
Nuxus, was that to me or was that to her? Or was that to Scott? Sorry. I don't feel like I was an asshat to her. I was just making fun of her. She has a pretty weird idea on God. I still talk to her like she's a person. I don't cut the chick down. But she's just got some crazy takes. Oh. Okay.
Now, there's some other things that we need to get into about the actual carrying out of the attack. Now, to me, this is the least controversial part. They say that Tyler Robinson got atop a building about 200 yards away from Charlie Kirk. Others say the distance was actually much shorter. And if you look at a 3D mock-up of the facility, it was not a difficult perch to gain access to. Unlike the rooftop in...
She doesn't join my stream, Nuxus. She won't come on my stream. Not because we have problems or anything. I don't have any problems with her. But, yeah, no, fair. I agree with that, Nuxus. I agree with that. She won't come on my stream, though. Yeah. She won't come over here because I am not afraid to challenge her and what she believes. Based, Paige. Exactly. She's a blasphemer. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's really what it is, right? I will challenge everything she believes constantly whenever I talk to her. Now, granted, the last time I talked to her was in a private Discord. We weren't live. It wasn't like online or anything. And we had a, decent little like cut up back and forth, whatever. But like you have to understand if you're gonna go live to the internet and this is something that's gonna be posted, I will challenge you. And I will challenge you every fucking time. Regardless of whether you come out on top or not. That's irrelevant. Just understand this is a hostile channel to beliefs that do not believe in our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Stamy, what's going on, brother? Good to see you, my man. Welcome in. Welcome in. It's going to be a spicy one tonight, my brother. Just saying, my man. Just saying.
Butler, Pennsylvania last year. The killer here did not require a ladder to climb to the top of the roof.
We're drinking the little hat, the bowler hat gin.
Pavilion,
gentlemen.
by a pedestrian walkway. There was a staircase that led up to the perch where the killing shot was fired. What's more, eyewitnesses say that there was no security at this event. There were security guards, and they were stationed in and around the tent where Charlie Kirk was present answering questions, but there was no security perimeter established. They did not control entry into the event or onto the campus. They did not check IDs. They did not scan tickets.
Why is this happening? I don't understand why this is happening. Hold on. I don't get why it's playing twice. Let me know if this fixes the idea. Let me know if this fixes the problem.
And so this is the softest of soft targets. The nearest high point was not secured. This is a rooftop that anyone could have access to, did not require a ladder. The killer allegedly waltzed right up to the perch, set up the shot, took the shot, ran away.
How's that?
And if you view a three-dimensional mock-up of the facility, that looks perfectly possible. It looks easy. And it seems that if anybody knew where Charlie Kirk was going to be speaking, and if they scoped out the layout of the campus, it doesn't seem like this would be a
Hey, Michael Hatch, Seagram's and Diet Tonic. Hell yeah, dude. I was drinking some zero sugar tonic water last night with my, well, it wasn't Seagram's, it was Brokers, but I drink the bowler hat gin. That's the crazy, dude. I don't understand why it's doing that. That's nuts. Oh yeah, Michael, dude, I love Brokers. That's my jam. Seagram's is good. Don't get me wrong. I can drink Seagram's. Brokers is just higher proof. That's literally the only thing I have to say for Brokers. Dude, I got to figure out what's going on with this echo, man. All right, so I don't have. Hold on. Let me see something.
difficult plot to put together and then to carry out. And it makes common sense. When you go to these events, people are paying attention to the event. People are paying attention to the spectacle. Apparently, there were spotters on the roof opposite where the killer was perched. Did they not see him? Maybe they did. Did the people on the ground not see him? These are some unanswered questions, but from what people say, it seems to be the case that this was a pretty easy setup. Without security, without
Good
checkpoints,
for you,
he
Paige.
walked
Good
up,
for
took
you.
the shot, walked right out. Now, the walking out has been the subject of a lot of controversy. People say that when Tyler Robinson or the gunman left the building, this is where it gets tricky. We don't know exactly how he gained access to the roof, if he climbed or if he took the staircase. But the surveillance video shows that he jumped off of the roof to make his escape, which was a high jump. And the video has been the subject of a lot of scrutiny. Some people say that the video does not show that he had his rifle with him. Why does this matter? Because, of course, the rifle was fully assembled when he took the shot. The rifle was fully assembled when it was recovered.
Damn it, are we not men? Listen, okay? I'm not called lower class for no reason. Oh shit, there's a raid incoming? Holy. Hey, are we not men? Good to see you though, man. Welcome in, my brother. Yeah, I don't know what it is. This mic just it is so sensitive to any outside noise. I can't oh shit, Rob's about to raid me? Dude, what a fucking legend, bro. I can't for the life of me figure out how to like I don't think this thing actually changes from like a multi-directional mic to a solenoid, I think is what it's called. I don't think it actually does that. So what I'm going to have to do when I'm playing videos, unless I just fucking turn the volume down, is cut my mic off. Let me know how the echo is now.
Covered in a wooded area not far from where the shot was taken. Now, there's a video of him leaving the roof and making his escape through the wooded area where he discarded the rifle. Some people say that when he jumped off of the roof, they cannot see the rifle in his hands. Where would it be? It couldn't be on the roof because it was in the wooded area. If it wasn't visible in the video of him leaving the roof, that means it was either planted in the woods or he was concealing it somehow by
Yes, Stamey, exactly. It did need fucking security. It was something that was easily accessible and was not fucking secured. Nobody went up on that building and did anything to secure that. And there's no way, and no one will be able to fucking tell me that he was not able, that they were not able to find a gun up there that was left there earlier in the day by somebody else. Give me a fucking break. I just want to be serious about this. Look, I'm not here to stand in defense of left-wing ideology. I'm not. But I am here to stand in defense of people who want to escalate things in this country to something that will fucking destroy us. Because that's what they want. There is some force on the outside that wants to escalate things so far that blood will spill in the streets. And we can't fucking afford that right now. I've been saying this for days. I've been saying this for days. We cannot fucking afford a civil war in this country. The entire world right now is just waiting for us to come into any form of weakness, any sense of vulnerability, the entire fucking world is waiting for that. Do you think the UN are our allies? They would love for us to come under martial law, for us to compromise our Constitution, for us to do anything that would destabilize our country. The entire fucking world. Canada, Mexico, the UK, Germany, France, all these countries. They're sitting by and fucking waiting for it. And people have been saying it for years. They've been saying it for fucking years. Look at how the world looks at us. Why? Because the people who are running these foreign countries, who are totally willing to sack the United States and everything that we fucking stand for, are sitting back and waiting for any sense of vulnerability. And what more time are we vulnerable than when our own people are fighting our own people? You guys may not like this take. Rob, thank you very much for the raid. I fucking appreciate it, bro. Thank you very much, man. Thank you so much, dude. That's fucking incredible. I think this is the most views I've gotten on my stream so far. But I just want to be very clear about that. These countries that we consider allies, Britain, France, Germany, maybe even the little New Jersey-sized country in the Middle East. They're not our fucking allies. They're sitting back and they're waiting for any chance they possibly can to exploit our weakness. They've been doing it for decades. They've been doing it for years. So fucking spare me with this bullshit. I'm sorry. I'm done. I'm fucking tired of it. There are countries in the world that are totally willing and capable, mind you, of entirely undermining everything that we believe in this country. There are people that are utilizing the assassination of someone who stood for every good thing this country stood for. The ability for us to discuss things in the public square. To break any sense of unity that could possibly bring. Fuck the UN. Fuck the UK. Fuck France. Fuck Germany. Fuck Sweden. They don't have alliances to their people. It's time to be fucking real, guys. I'm serious. It's time to look at what we have in front of us and understand what is at stake in this country. What is truly at stake today? We've seen literal sociopaths cheering on violence, cheering on further division, cheering on people actively wanting to keep their political opposition scared. And now, all of the information is coming out about what happened. Is anybody truly, like, satisfied? Anybody? I'm not. I'm not satisfied with fucking any of this. You know, it's funny. We're going to keep watching, by the way. Charlie Kirk, in the days before a bullet ripped through his neck, in front of his fucking family, he started to speak out against that little New Jersey shaped country over in the Middle East. It hasn't even been a week. And there's already people lining up to cheer this on.
Constructing it in pieces. But if he deconstructed it in pieces, that would have been a time-consuming process that he probably couldn't have done in the allotted time. It would have been difficult to do. And even if he was somehow able to deconstruct the weapon on the roof, conceal it, jump off of the roof, the weapon was recovered after the fact in the woods, fully constructed. Which begs the question.
Michael Hatch, you know what? We end up on opposite sides of the spectrum. And you know,
Hey, brother, man, how's it going?
what's up, EOD? Good to see you, man.
How's it going?
Welcome in, bro. Welcome in.
Thank you.
Yeah. Is there anybody in the waiting room? I know you have access to this.
No, there's no one in the waiting room.
Okay, cool. What's going on, bro? Good to see you. Welcome in.
Yeah, I'm just hanging out, man. You know, came over with the Rob raid. I was wondering if you saw what fucking Stillman posted in your Discord earlier.
I did. Yeah. I told him to jump up. I'm pretty sick of the way he's been literally fucking slandering me online. So I'd love for him to jump up because I have some words for that motherfucker.
Yeah, man, I don't even know if it's fucking worth it, but it's up to you. I mean, fuck that guy. I would just fucking kick him, but that's me.
Yeah, it's all good, dude. It's nothing like worth my actual stress. You know what I mean? But
Exactly. Everything else that's been going on, you know, this week and all of it is just fuck them. You know, if they don't want to be mindful of, I don't know how broken everyone feels, then they can go eat a fucking dick. Get the fuck out.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. They can go fuck themselves for real. But yeah, man. Just going over this video. This one's. I'm bringing the spice today, dude. I'm bringing the spice today because I'm not too convinced by the official story. Yes, Bill Hicks. Yeah, he has been. Yeah, I so For anyone that doesn't know, and I know like there's probably people that lean orthodox and stuff. I do Bible studies on my channel, and I repeatedly over and over and over I make sure that it is known that I am not a biblical scholar and I don't read the Bible and interpret it and try to make claims on what it's saying, okay? I say that over and over and over and fucking over again, all right? And people who go to other channels and say that I'm preaching, that's what pisses me off, because I specifically give that disclaimer to let everyone know, every possible person know, that I do not know what these texts say. I am not a scholar in these matters. I do not have any authority to claim what is in the scripture. I'm just fucking reading it.
Well, it even becomes much more obvious because you have all of the people on panel with you share in the burden of reading the scripture as you go through.
Yes,
So it's not
dude.
it's not about you opining or expressing a particular point of view. It's about a discussion, right? It's just a Bible study is all it is.
Yeah. That's really what it is. We're just reading the word. And it, Mr. Fist, stop. Stop. Don't do that.
He's just being funny.
I know he is. I love you, Mr. Fista. Good to see you, brother. Welcome in. Thank you. And by the way, everyone from Rob's Raid, thank you very much for jumping in today. I really appreciate it, man. Look, here's the bottom line, guys, okay? It's very hard to get banned from my chat unless you break TOS or you fucking lie on me. If you lie on me, you're getting banned. That's the bottom line. No ifs, ands, or buts. That's it. Of course you are, Stammy. Yeah, absolutely.
I'll put him a link. I'll give him a link.
I'm at my wit's end, gentlemen. I'm at my wit's end. Okay? I try to be 100% transparent here. I do not act like I am some pastor. I did not go to biblical school. I do not know what's in the scriptures. When I read them, and that's it. We're not even through the Old Testament, for God's sake.
Mm.
We're reading a fucking story.
It's the bigger of the two, to be fair.
That's fine, but it's just a story. We're in Joshua.
Yeah. It's not just it's history, right? But yeah.
Exactly. Anyway, let's get back to the video.
Question: did he then reconstruct the rifle in the woods to
Well, I have one for
discard?
you when you get a chance. I just posted it in your general chat.
What's that?
I said I have one for you when you get a chance. I posted it in your general chat. Maybe after this or whatever. But
Oh, we'll get to it.
Up later? Why would he do that? That doesn't make any sense at all. The story would have to go something like this. He concealed the rifle when he walked up, put it together, took it apart, jumped off the roof, put it back together, placed it in the woods, and then ran away. But this would be too time consuming, would require maybe more equipment than he had, which was a screwdriver and nothing else, and wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. With that being said, if you look closely at the video of him jumping off of the roof, it is a grainy video. It's difficult to see. There's no question about that. It is ambiguous. But if you look closely, I do believe you can see that he is carrying a straight
Let me know how the
object that looks
audio
to be
is.
concealed by
Oh
the
wait,
towel.
hold on, real quick.
It swings
I can't hear
from
anything
his
in
right
Discord.
arm as he
Yeah.
jumps
I'm
off of the
listening to your
roof
stream in order to hear the video.
and lands with it. That's a matter of interpretation. That's a matter of perspective.
There
I'm
you
not
go.
going to say it's definitive. That's what I believe I saw. But this is some of the evidence that people like Michael Savage and others are using to say that maybe he was not the gunman or not the only gunman, or that maybe evidence was planted. That's been the subject of a lot of scrutiny. You can look closely at it. To me, I feel like I can see an object that does not bend, a straight, long object that swings as he jumps down. But again, it's a matter of interpretation. Now, the other piece of evidence, and this to me is maybe the most damning, this is the detail that I don't think a lot of people have talked about, but it is also somewhat unreliable. This speaks to the motive. And this is going to get us to some of the other culprits in the killing. Of course, the big question is, these are most of the relevant facts. The question is, why would a 22-year-old, who was by all accounts a brilliant, normal guy, why would he kill Charlie Kirk? It's a pretty radical action. A homicide of a high-profile stranger, a political figure in cold blood, from a Mormon Reddit guy who, according to his parents, had a 34 ACT score, which is very high percentile, 4.0 GPA, full ride scholarship to a local college. Family was allegedly conservative, although some say that that might not be the case.
You're muted, bro, if you're trying to talk. Lower class.
Was I muted?
Yeah, you were muted.
My issue remains with every fucking second of this. It all seems fabricated. But we're going to get into that. Everything just seems so fucking fake. And I really try not to push this aspect of it. I really try not to.
It's hard to tell what's manufactured and what's real in today's world, man. It really is.
It's just so hard to come to the conclusion that this is all the official story is what actually happened. It's so fucking hard.
What about it? I mean, the guy was dating a transmission, okay, and was obviously very radicalized when it came to trans ideology and, you know, this whole trans rights issue. Charlie Kirk is out here saying, hey, these people are sick. We need to treat them. We don't need to encourage them to remain sick. It's the exact antithesis to his fucking ideology. I don't know. He just seems like a sick individual to me. I mean, that's the way I hope and I pray is the reality, because if it's normal on the left to feel the way that guy felt, then we're all in a lot of deep shit right now.
There's no doubt that he's a sick individual. He was fucking a dude that claimed to be a woman. I have no illusions about that.
Why do you say it's an L take, Big Bill? What are you talking about? That's not an L take. The motherfucker was sick. How's that an L take?
I'm gonna sit back and wait for David Moore. Thinks he wants to come up and say some things, so we can bring him up.
I know.
I'm interested to have people come up and
the lone gunman narrative always has plenty of holes every single time. Says Bill
it's
Hicks.
just it's so.
You think it's more likely that this guy was some kind of fucking undercover government operative? I mean,
No, I didn't
give
say
me a
that.
break. Which one of us is reaching when you go into that type of fucking rhetoric? You see what I'm
I
saying?
didn't say that. I didn't say he was an undercover government operative. Look, there are people in this country. No, there are people who were his neighbors who said that there were people
There's Mr.
for
Bill.
weeks before this happened going in and out of his townhouse that had out of state license plates. And they all said they gave them bad vibes. This is in like an upscale $1,800 a month townhouse that this dude was living in, where he was fucking some dude who thought he was a woman.
Mm. Well, we got only a Mr. Bill in the back there.
Oh, only Mr. Bill.
Yeah.
Welcome in, bro. You actually you have access to this too, so whenever you want, you can just click right in, brother. Good to see you, man. How you doing?
Good. Listening in.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Mr. Bill.
Tried to be very clear. I'm not here to run defense for the left on this. I'm not here to say their ideology is not to blame. It's so fucking hard for me to wrap my head around the concept that one person was able to get on top of a building, knowing when and where he could take aim and take the shot, and then at the same time, there were people in the crowd yelling out they were the ones that did it.
Well, admit it could easily have been organized, but I just don't see the New Jersey country being involved.
I mean, we're going to get into that. In my last stream, we went over the fact that there were people talking about the specific date over a month before it happened. Something big is going to happen on September 10th. Charlie Kirk's coming to my high school tomorrow. Wish someone would evaporate him. Something big is going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah, but I live out in Portland and everything, and stuff like that happens at whenever there's a conservative gathering or whatever, anything big that's happening. It's a small town, Utah, we're talking about also. You see something like that happening, something big's going to happen in this town. They already know that some conservative thing's going to happen. So they'll put on the internet, watch out, as a threatening gesture towards the rights. In most cases, is what it's all about. Not that they're actually going to do anything, but as a sort of say, you shouldn't show up to this event. That's what I usually see anyway, from my perspective.
And then you have scumbags like Destiny. These fucking shills who are totally willing to call for more violence, escalation of what we're already seeing. While literally almost everyone that I see on the right is fucking begging for people not to escalate this. And there are people out there knowing this. I mean, does anyone know any mainstream right-wing voices? I mean, for God's sake, Nick fucking Fuentes told everyone to put your arms down. Don't pick up a gun. And the only people who are screaming and fucking begging for there to be an escalation here. Isn't it funny who they always defended? Dude, I'm getting sick of it. They're not our fucking allies, bro. They're not.
He had no criminal record, no history of murder or violence. So the question is why? Why does a 22-year-old carry out an attack like this? Why does a bright young man with no record, with his future ahead of him, and by the way, no social media footprint, which is a little interesting detail. Why does this person decide to wake up one day and not just, by the way, carry out a random attack, but an orchestrated attack? And think about the difference here. There is all the difference in the world between a sloppy job, a sloppy passion of crime, where a nervous amateur, let's say for the sake of argument, walks up to the microphone, draws a pistol, and takes a shot. Because when I was told that Charlie Kirk was shot at a question and answer session, that is the first image that came to my mind. Before I saw the video, before we became acquainted with the details, if someone told you, and you know what these events look like, if someone told you that someone took a shot at Charlie Kirk, what would you imagine? I would imagine that when entering or exiting, or when sitting stationary in the chair, someone would draw a short-range weapon from a short distance and take a shot, like Luigi Mangione. But this required planning. This required sophistication. All these things that we just talked about, all these details were premeditated. It's not just that you have a brilliant 22-year-old, maybe not brilliant, but a gifted 22-year-old with a high ACT score, a high...
We do know that his dad was law enforcement for 20 years. And that as a son of a law enforcement officer, you sort of know that you need to plan ahead for certain things, before you take action, It's kind of comes to the territory of being a law enforcement officer, and a son would usually pick up on things like that. You wouldn't just sort of want to do something and then, I'm not going to plan ahead to do this thing, when your dad has been in law enforcement for 20 years. So how is that not hard to understand, Fuentes, in my opinion? And, as a crime expert or whatever, as a law enforcement guy, if you're trying not to get caught and everything, you're planning ahead in order not to get caught, Not the cops do that, but they know the criminal mind. So he might have passed on some of that information to his son, just as, fathers pass on their information from their jobs to their children. So it's like, why would he not sort of know things to do to not get caught as the son of a law enforcement person? This is
all of these things that I've been trying to present do not lead to the fact that these people who have been used as useful idiots are not. Hey, Paige, it's pinned in chat. If you go up to the pinned comment up there, the Discord link is in chat. Yes, Sean Trotman, correct. Yes. All of the signs point to there were people aggravating an event like this. All of the signs point there were people showing up to his fucking apartment for weeks before this happened.
Okay, Kako Killer is cool people. We can bring him up. He's cool people.
Is he?
Yeah. He's talking to me about D&D and been watching Rob for a while and still cut up about Charlie Kirk like all of us.
What's up, Kako Killer? Welcome in, dude.
Hey, thanks, man. I'm gonna mute the stream for a second. Yeah, there we go. I was trying to keep up with what you're saying. I'm not sure exactly where you are now with it.
I'm just I do you want to know like the full scope where this is all going? The end
Yes,
fucking
absolutely.
the end goal.
Yeah.
I think a foreign, what we consider an ally, but is actually an adversary, is motivating these far left pro trans movements to commit violent acts against people that abhor them.
I gotcha. No, that's good. That's a good synopsis of what you're saying, right?
That's the end goal.
Yeah. You know what? And I wouldn't discredit that or discount that out of hand. I think it's entirely possible. I do think that we are in a situation where, I mean, this has been breeding in our population for a long time. I mean, I've had these kind of conversations back in the 90s directly in person with people and listened to some people who were just really on the edge. And they were at that point legitimately fringe.
Yeah.
But then you see, and then as a bartender, I worked as a bartender for a long time. You get that constant flow. I'm 54, so I had a constant flow of young men and women going through the collegiate years and watching them come in as a freshman and watch that progress. And some of them just went off the deep end. Some of them were that way for a couple of years. Some of them were that for maybe a month or a year. And some of them got, real life hit them as soon as they graduated. Most of them. But if you're on campus and you're actually interacting with these people, you're seeing this call. I remember when they were calling, when they first started talking about the Palestinian thing and they were calling for Hamas. They first showed up at our campuses, and I was like, "What is this? Who are these people? Can you totally funded. I went to China through a study abroad with the Confucius Institute, and they didn't try to recruit me, but they definitely tried to recruit. There were definitely these Marxist whack jobs in our little group, and they were all the same. And I was like, man, and sure enough, they turned into protesters. But as far as there's definitely been foreign influences. I don't know if there's one specific country doing it, like you were saying earlier. I mean, it could be any of them, all of them. They're all pushing for it. They all want our downfall. But we have a fifth column. We definitely have a fifth column in this country, and we've had it since the McCarthy era, and probably even before. I mean, if you look at, are you familiar with the Venona tapes?
No, let's hear it.
So what happened was that during McCarthy's era, when he was talking about there's communists, his thing wasn't any communist needs to be outed. And his only thing, his hyper focus was in a security sensitive job, we should not have Communist Party members in it. That was it. That was the limit of it, the full limit. Not State Department. You could be a janitor, but not at the State Department. You could be you could work at at the national. If they had it at the time, they could have worked at the Education Association, whatever. But if you were going to work in any kind of system, that was his whole thing. And then he had reliable information somebody had given him that said that there were 52 communist registered spies. Communist registered members in those sensitive areas. So when he went around doing that, and they were like, they picked a big fight about it. And of course, this all went on for years, and they demonized him, and they drove him to drink himself to death. So decades later, they come out and they finally release this. They finally declassify something. Guess what it is? It's called the Venona tapes. And it comes to find out that we had been recording, we had broken their code, and we had identified actual communist spies who held positions. One of them was a short list for the VP for one of our presidents. These guys, they went out and one of them went out and negotiated. He was the head negotiator for the State Department that said that we need to abandon Chiang Kai-shek for Mao. And that's these guys that but the Venona tapes were this direct, and they were all paid communist spies. And then they identified newspapermen. They were writing they were getting these huge awards, and they were writing these stories that were praising. Communism was a miracle, right? Yeah. And it turns out that they were starving in Ukraine. Now, all that said, I'm just saying that's how far back it goes, and that's how deep they were in there. This all smacks of Marxist, just whatever they can use. I mean, they will.
For years, man, they're fucking commies. We need to make McCarthyism great again. We need to
absolutely
start people out and getting them out of office, moving them out of power in the United States, getting them away from our institutions of power. Absolutely,
100%. Are you a reader?
Me?
I read some.
Yes.
If you dedicate yourself to a great book, it's called Blacklisted by History. It's a fantastic book on McCarthy, and it's super applicable to today. Wonderful volume. You can pick it up on Amazon, cheap as hell, and it's a fantastic read when you want to really
They
kind of get a
smeared
feel.
McCarthy the same way they're doing to all of the right wing politicians today, and
yeah.
they made his messaging out to be completely otherwise to what it was actually about, and it was about preserving American institutions apart from fucking communist influence. Is really what it was about. They completely made him out to be a monster that was being fascistic and coming down on political opponents and this and that and the other thing. It's garbage. What he was trying to do was root out a real fucking problem, which is coming to fruition now before our eyes.
That's 100% correct. I mean, we've bred this, and we conservatives. What we did, we allowed it. That's on us. We didn't oppose it like we should have. There were people warning about it for years and years, and we pushed them to the edge, and we let people and this is a guy who had a subscription to National Review. This is a guy who was a dedicated, I love Rush Limbaugh. I'm not accusing him of being this, but I'm just saying that I have been on the right for the longest time, and I dabbled in libertarianism. I've done all those stuff, and I'll tell you, man, one thing we didn't do is that when it was small, when it was possible to see what was coming, we didn't do anything about it. Now we got to deal with this crap. Now we have a real fire on it. And it's
Well, they were all over
children.
fucking Hollywood, dude. Look at Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz. I mean, they were one of the biggest shows on TV, and they were devout fucking communists.
100%. That's 100% right. That's absolutely right.
So, this is not like McCarthyism didn't and I agree, it did not get to the point where it should have, where it seemed like it was like the news cycle is today, right? So the news cycle today, the way it works is people get called something and then it just goes away. And that's one of the things where, to me, the Epstein files, a lot of people are saying this isn't going to go away. Yes, it is. And the simple reason is there are politicians who are using this for some political gain. And that always gets pushed to the back burner by the American society. People get fucking tired of hearing it. They don't want to hear it anymore. And I'm not saying that it's not valid. I'm not saying that it's not something that we should look at. What I'm saying is, in a general sense, people will stop giving a fuck about things like this.
All right, lower class, you got Paige in the back. If you want to give me mod in the Discord, I can try to handle some of that.
Yes. Yeah, I will. Paige, welcome in. Welcome in. Thank you very much for being here tonight.
What's your dinner, Paige?
Thanks for having me, lower class, gentlemen. Nice to see you all, or hear you all, rather.
It's good to see you, Paige. How you doing?
Good. Sorry, not to interrupt the flow of conversation, but yeah. I sent lower class some articles just on the text between the I'm just gonna call him the shooter because I don't want to give the guy dignity that he doesn't deserve.
Absolutely.
And his tea lover. And I also sent lower class the recent updates on ABC, and I think you'll see it's pretty clear that there does seem to be some personal motives there, but I think that absolutely everything you guys are saying has credit, regardless of the motives. The government is going, and other parties that are outside of the U.S. will use this, right? Because America is the leader of the free world, to try and cause discourse and to further separate people. It's really coincidental that the Irina Ziyuts get unaliving, and this happened in the same week.
Yeah.
So
isn't that interesting?
Interesting.
So I'm not, like I said, I'm open to the concept, to the idea that there's something extra going on there. Honestly, at this point, I'm kind of under the suspicion that this was just these guys knowing they were going to get caught, knowing that they were going to be recorded, knowing that they were going to find their stuff. They're trying to lay down some kind of plausible deniability for each person individually at some point or another. That's how devious they are. That's how well thought out. They're not crazy. They're just in the sense of a lunatic who sees and doesn't understand and can't control themselves. They control themselves very well. But their desires are so warped, so impacted by by the ideology that any evil is excused, and they are well planning it out. That's why they take somebody that kid's smart, 4.0 student. That's exactly what I was expecting a 4.0 student to do. Somebody who's deviously minded, who plays a lot of games, maybe does some kind of plotting and scheming, and he's like, we'll just do that. That chat comes across like a script. And that's why, because they are scripting. I think he was scripting to try to give plausibility. Like the guy who they caught now that they've said, yeah, this guy's under arrest now. Everybody can see it. I bet you that. I'm like, man, you need to take a look at this guy who was cheering. He could have been part of that too. It could be a cell of 10 to 20 people doing different things, not necessarily on site. But plotting, scheming, planning. He could have had somebody plant his like him talking about trying to get his gun. It was something weird about. I'm like, why didn't you just take the gun with him where he went? I don't understand. He could change clothes, he could do all this stuff. Why drop the gun and then try to go back and get it?
Yeah, right.
It's just
not like
weird.
that hot.
Right.
There's two interesting aspects to that. So, number one, we've already covered this, is the security. I think that is rather perplexing that there wasn't significant security, or at least enough security to detect a rifle being hidden on the property. The secondary component is the shot, right? Now, I've heard two different opinions on this. The first I've heard was from my dad, because my dad follows American politics pretty closely and American events. We're from a border city, so we always have.
Mhm.
He said that the shot from the range was very good marksmanship, which it's not like novel marksmanship. And then I heard Andrew Wilson on his show, The Extravaganza, great show. If you aren't watching it, watch it
Oh, yeah.
if you can during weekdays.
Definitely check it
He
in
said that
Extravaganza.
it could have been like a snapback or something from the rifle because of the type of rifle, that he meant to maybe hit Charlie in the chest, but it hit him in the neck because of, like, I don't know, recoil or snapback, or I forget what the exact term
It's
is.
Okay,
it's
so
a ricochet
first of all,
off of
it's not a very good shot. It was only from 200 yards away. It's not. It doesn't take an expert in order to make that shot.
Right.
Secondly,
Okay.
he's shooting downhill, which normally you're not when you're hunting. Okay, normally you're on the level. You know, and if you're in a deer stand, it's a little different. But I mean, you have to train for that. And it's a question of whether or not the guy was actually well practiced or not. If he wasn't, then he was aiming for. I hate fucking discussing the fucking technicalities of this, but he was aiming for Charlie's head.
It's tragic.
Okay,
Yeah, I know.
and shooting downhill, it would have fallen lower than he expected it to, so lower than it was sighted for, right?
So a 30-06 has a drop of about 4 inches every 100 meters, I think is what they say. And I'm familiar with firearms and rifles. I've shot a lot of them. Like I said, just hunting mostly. I'm not in the military. I'm not an expert like that. The shot is not that phenomenal of a shot. If you have general familiarity with firearms and you're somewhat competent and you can get comfortable with it in some degree, you could probably make that shot pretty quick within like I would say
With a scope, right? Like if
with
he has
a
an
s-
adequate
yep.
scope. Yeah.
with a scope, because you need to be able to see what you're aiming at. It would be if they no scoped him, that would be like, yeah, there's something up there. But the other thing is that the shot was a ricochet. With what they're saying, and this is common even amongst all the people who I know that served in the military. You would have people hit your vest and it would ricochet up and hit them in the face. That's why you have a lot of people who have facial scars and who get hit. And those are our primary casualties, is getting that ricochet up. The vest doesn't catch, so to speak, the bullet. But so I don't doubt the shooter, actually the shooting in the situation there. It doesn't have to be that complicated of a scenario there. I mean, like I said, what we see is what we get there. I think mostly the planning would have been like the getaway to get the firearm. I mean, they could have overplanned it. You don't know what. I mean, like I said, they live in a fantasy world. They're not crazy, but they do live in a fantasy world. So you don't know what kind of wackiness they could have put onto that.
Yeah,
I
mean,
think the main W. Oh, sorry.
I 100% agree. Don't get me wrong. And I'm not trying to say that this wasn't like, this insane leftist ideology run riot. And I'm
Right.
not trying to sit back and say that
Oh, no, yeah.
this is something that, Bill Hicks, thank you, man. God
Hey,
bless
Bill.
you, bro. God bless you. I'm not trying to run defense for leftist ideology here.
Absolutely not. No, we're just Iron Manning what we're looking at.
I'm just, I'm a little disgruntled with I'm a little disgruntled with Trump right now, man.
I could feel that. I think that this is something I was wanting to say if I was really busy earlier, but so I didn't get a chance to say this to Rob. But this is something I agree that right now our leaders. That's what we're looking to. This energy that just went out from Charlie, this motivation, this fire that's been lit in us, it could get out of control and really burn down a lot of stuff. That's what we need our leaders for. And we don't need our leaders to tell us to calm down and unite. We need them to focus us on what we're going to do. We need to see something happening. We need to see some results. We need to see that they're on it. They're not part of it. And it's really hard for them to do that. It's really hard for them to do that because our trust level right now is so low, mine included, with the government. I mean, we're on the edge, man.
Well, I'm happy they at least confirmed it's not a right-wing groiper because I heard that for I did 5 Charlie Kirk, pro Charlie Kirk, RIP, respect, brother, live streams on TikTok, and that's all I heard for most. I was like, oh, it was right on right crime, it was white on white
It's so
crime.
desperate for that to
BS.
be true because they can't admit that their side is capable of wrongdoing. It's disgusting.
Yeah, no,
Exactly.
that's 100% true.
And then once they find out that it is a left-wing person, like, oh, the right side needs to not tone down the rhetoric. We need to tone down the rhetoric and stop pointing out all the craziness to the left.
Trump's fault. It's our fault because that left-wing person did it in the first place. Yeah.
Yeah. My cynicism is so high right now that I look at it. I don't think they're fooled again. I think all these people who are saying that it was, trying to say that it was a right person doing it. That's just an attack. That's a 5th generation warfare attack, trying to demoralize us, trying to upset us. And it works to a degree. When you hear someone say that it was one of our guys and they just insist on it and they refuse to hear something different, they're liars. They're liars.
No, yeah, it's 100% bullshit.
Yeah,
it's absolute bullshit. This was not a fucking right winger that did it. Here's the thing to me that really fucking brings it home. Okay, this is from my Facebook page, and I'm gonna read this off my phone. I'm not gonna put this online. I don't want anyone to get harassed over this, but a friend of mine who is left leaning, she asks this question in her chat. And says, simply curious, what do you think about the death of Charlie Kirk? And somebody commented, I mean, most of these are, I'm heartbroken over the loss of life and so sad for his family. And then continues on after that. Horrible for the country. It's terrible that he was killed. It's horrible. I think he was assassinated by the current administration to further the red wave. Then you have these fucking people. Agree or disagree, dude had a family. As a man with a family, I don't give a fuck whether you believe the earth is flat or dogs can grow wings. You have a right to speak freely and retire at night with your family. And then continues on from there, right? Then you have other people saying, I think it's going to be used as a catalyst or justification for really awful things in the coming months. I think it's sad as to what it means for all Americans. There is such a fucking divide amongst people. Here's one that really got me. Check this out, guys. As a conservative lesbian, not a MAGA Republican, there's really no space carved out for me. I didn't watch any of his debates until after his death, and to be honest, I don't disagree with most of what he said. I'm also extremely disappointed in so many on the left. We talk about how crazy and extreme the right is, but Jesus, it's embarrassing to scroll through my feed and read, he deserved it because he spread hate. Truthfully, though, the American political left is the most hateful and least accepting population on the planet, and I plan to vote for whatever Republican to keep anyone who thinks someone should be killed for not embracing their values out of office. That's from a lesbian. Okay? This was the one that really got me, though. And this was the one that I actually commented on and had a back and forth with. It was some cunt that lives in my city, and she's a straight white liberal fucking cunt woman, okay, who said, I don't mourn white supremacists no matter how they're killed. No one gave a fuck about that comment. No one liked that comment. Other comments have 19, 20, 30, whatever likes. She had 5. And then they go on to talk about he had one shot. You only get one shot. and then posting Eminem fucking gifs and shit.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit, man. These motherfuckers are glorifying death.
They are. They're fucking scumbags, dude.
So
These
this-
people want the destruction of our nation and nothing less. They don't want anything that even fucking appears like unity.
Here, man. Play the first 5 minutes of that clip that I posted in your general Discord. Okay, because
yeah, we can get off of we can get off of Fuentes. There's a lot to this video, but I'm just impassioned right now because I'll be honest, everybody, guys, straight up, I'm really scared about the direction that we've been going as a country.
I am too. And part of it is going to be people who are chastising you for supporting Charlie Kirk and who are misnaming and misrepresenting what he stood for. And one of the things they're going to say is that Charlie Kirk was a racist. And that he hated black people. One of the things they're going to say is that he wanted gay people to be stoned to death. They're going to say that Charlie Kirk was a radical, right-wing fascist who doesn't think the other side should deserve to speak, despite the fact that 90% of his fucking gig was going out and asking people to tell him why he's wrong.
Where did
You
you
need
send
to
that to me?
fucking preserve that in the general chat in your Discord, brother.
I'm in my Discord and general chat.
Yeah, you gotta scroll up a little bit. There it is.
Ah, there it is. Okay. Sorry. All right.
Give me your perspective on DEI, and because based on what I heard earlier, I feel like you don't think I belong here.
Oh,
because
really?
of
Why?
How I am a black man, and because of DEI, I'm not qualified enough.
Are you?
To be here? Yes, I am.
Okay, great. Then you belong.
But why do I have to prove that to you?
You don't. You brought it up. I didn't.
Okay, but can you explain to me your position on DEI?
Yes, people should not be in positions just because of the color of their skin. Hard stop.
Okay, but do you feel like I'm here because
I'm not feeling anything towards you, actually. I'm not prejudicing you. I'm not stereotyping you. I'm saying that it's a material.
I'm not saying you are. I'm not saying you are.
No, you are. You said I don't feel comfortable being here. You started with.
I didn't say I wasn't comfortable being here.
hold
I
on.
said I feel like you made it to where I got here through DEI.
So let's examine that. What have I said that makes you feel that way?
When you mentioned how DEI is only just putting people of color and marginalized groups in spaces, even if they're not so and so
Correct.
qualified.
That's exactly what
But-
DEI
That's
does.
perfect right
that's
there.
not all
It's
that it
pause
does.
them
You're
and have them
categorizing.
explain to you why they disagree with you. Right there.
They don't
But
want to
because-
hear what you have to say.
I know they want to paint you in a particular way, so you have to stop them and ask them, why is it you think I said what you think I said, and let me explain it to you. Right? That's a perfect move. I just want to point that out.
Gentlemen, so just a quick question. Do you know how slave keepers kept their slaves on the plantation?
I don't know, but you need to be mindful of toss. Sir.
The families? Was it by?
I am, yes.
All right.
They had all of them convinced that if they were to leave, the entire country hates them and they will be brought back or worse.
It was ignorance. They didn't let them read. They didn't let them write. They didn't let them learn our language. That was part of it. Was holding them down in education so that
That's
they couldn't
the exact
read.
same thing the Democrats do today.
Yeah.
Plantation.
Don't vote against us because they hate you. They'll do terrible things to you. So vote for
Yeah.
us.
Right.
We'll
The
give you
saying that
food
they often-
stamps. We'll give you everything you need just to get by. But they fucking hate you.
Yeah, the saying that they always use against us, which is "there's no hate like Christian love," I think is equally applicable to progressive love.
Christian.
There's no
see,
hate like
100%.
progressive love.
That's the thing.
There is no hate in
love.
Christian love. There is no hate in Christian love. There is only hate in progressive love. That's absolutely correct.
Yeah, I agree.
Christian love teaches you to take accountability for yourself. And it is entirely antithetical to everything that they believe in. They cannot have people taking responsibility for themselves, because if they do, they'll realize they don't need society to grow. They don't need society to prosper. They don't need society to get by. I don't need fucking society.
Yeah, my priest gave a really powerful sermon on Sunday. He said that with all of the, the division right now that's going on between the left and the right, that the important thing is that the higher power is God, and that ultimately you can support certain political ideals. But at the end of the day, you report to God. God is your director and your leader.
God is your
and
judge.
it doesn't
yeah.
matter what the left thinks or what the right thinks, even if you might agree with them. That leader, that party is not God. God is the only leader you should look to. And I thought that was really powerful.
I'm just so fucking tired of these people who want to claim that they have a moral high ground over what I believe and over me. And you know what's funny? I specifically focus on the fact that I am not a man of moral. I'm not a man of high morals. I'm not. I'm a sinner. I'm a fucking alcoholic.
Well, I was going to say, aren't we all? But I suppose only a few of us are alcoholics.
No, we're all sinners. Come on.
I'm the driest bartender you've ever met.
I'm just giving examples, right? See, I'm not. I'm a bartender too, bro. I feel you, but like, I'm not a dry bartender, and I don't fucking pretend like I'm some man of high moral character. That's the thing that enrages me the most about all of this, is because, and I'm not trying to fucking give credence and like virtue signal. Charlie Kirk was a man of high moral character. There were no scandals. There were no people that like said that he was a fucking bane to work with. It was the exact opposite. He was a good man who cared about his family, who cared about the people that were around him, who didn't like talk shit about the people that he pretended to like to their faces. He was honest.
He often encountered trans students. He often encountered gay students. He often encountered gay professors, trans professors, black students, such as this young man here, and would have, as best of his ability, to acknowledge their identity and to hear them out, and to say, here's where we disagree, and here's where I think you're wrong, and that's it. That's all it was. It wasn't, I want you dead. It wasn't, I don't want you to ever speak again. It was, we have some differences, and let's talk about it, and hopefully I can help you find a pathway to Christ. Hopefully I can find you a pathway to respecting the Constitution, to respecting this country for the greatness that it is.
And consistently. And overwhelmingly.
Every single time.
Not overwhelmingly.
Every single time.
I don't want to say overwhelmingly. There were marches of thousands in the streets all over the fucking world, not just in America. All over
London,
the fucking world.
France, South Africa. Yeah.
I mean, he had the leaders of multiple countries: Argentina, Hungary, Slovakia. These people all talked about his name and what it meant to them. One thing I was thinking, and you just can't help to escape it when you take a Christian perspective on this, is you've got these people. Their most powerful weapon against us, in their mind, is death. They think that that's their way. They can't beat us with death. Death is conquered for the Christian. Death is not even. It's not even on the table, really. You can kill us, but all it does is make us stronger. All it does is reveal who you are. I tell you, when they killed Charlie Kirk, it was like a mass exorcism. All these demons had to identify themselves. They had to come out. They just couldn't help themselves. If they knew that it would threaten their jobs. I think they knew. And they're out there just confessing who they are constantly. The liars in high places had to come out and just present themselves as what they are, sniveling little sneaks that are just only here for whatever Charlie could do for them. And this is the last thing they think they can get out of him. They're going to squeeze it to the last inch. The legitimate people who were friends with him, it just emboldened them. It made them more powerful. J.D. Vance is the vice president of the United States because of Charlie Kirk problem. And he humbled himself. He got there. He left the United States president, the leader of the free world, a guy who can call the shots, right? He sat in his chair for Charlie that day. And he did a great job.
He did. That was an excellent fucking show. I posted that on my
That's
Discord. That was an excellent show.
I want
Charlie's
to be
not
very clear, though, because there are not only demons on their side, but there are demons on our side as well.
Sure.
All of these fucking edgelords who want to act like now's the time to call for civil war and to pick up your arms and to do all this fucking bullshit, they have no idea. These are people who are going online. It was last night. You know, I was on Dusty's stream last night, and like I'm trying to avoid saying some TOS words right now. But I was
I
on.
cannot deal with that guy.
I get it. Me and Dusty get along. He's a good guy. But I was on Dusty's stream last night, and there was some dude that was on his stream who literally said, "I'm far right and we're ready to fight." And man, did I want to hold back all the TOS words, because this fucking pussy, and I just want to be straight up, he has no idea what kind of people there are out there. Y'all know I'm not far right. I'm a right winger. I think that's fairly fucking obvious. This fucking loser, who probably lives with his parents, who probably spends every dime that he has on porn and alcohol, which I'm an alcoholic, so I'm not judging him too far, but I just want to make the case, right? There wasn't a family, there wasn't anything in the background. He was just some idiot that was online who wanted to be edgy, who wanted people to give him some fucking attention, and he wanted to say, "I'm far right and we're ready to fight." That was his fucking words. That's what he had to say. And this asshole, I promise you, has no fucking idea about the kinds of people that go to the FOP ranges. People that literally have trained for the day when something happens.
You take that and go on out. I'm sorry, I'm talking to my dog.
You're good, man. The second something happens to ignite any kind of civil violence in this country, dipshits like that have no fucking idea what's coming. He's probably one of those fucking queers that throws a mask on for the Patriot Front and marches through a city saying, "White men fight back." They don't realize who is actually ready for fucking war in this country. They have no idea. Because the people who are, and I'm being honest with you because I fucking know them. I'm not part of them, but I know them. They are.
Choose your words carefully, okay? I'm just
being honest here. And I'm not calling for violence. I abhor it, and I've done that consistently.
The last thing anybody wants who's seen war is to see war on our own soil. That's the last thing any of us want.
These people don't even want it. But these fucking losers that get online and they call for it and they're saying, "I'm ready to fight." They have no idea the kinds of people that are out there.
You guys have a lot of ex-military. You have a lot of ARs down there. You have a lot of trained individuals, people that have held a gun since they were young.
Yeah.
Right motivation. It's a powder keg. It's a powder keg.
I'm telling
All right,
you.
all right, all right, all right, all
That's
right.
the thing.
Fucking YouTube, everybody. YouTube, okay? Come on.
That's fine. What I'm saying is, like, the losers that are on our side, the edgelords that want to come out and call for civil war and all that, they have no fucking clue what kind of people that we have on our side. James
right to be
Lynch,
proven.
I'm not calling for that. I abhor that. I am against that.
Just speaking facts, James. Chill out, bro.
Here's the thing. We all abhor political violence. The
Yeah,
last
nobody
thing that this
wants
country
things-
needs is any more of that shit, yeah? We all
If
agree
the
with
right
that?
did,
Correct.
if the right was politically violent motivated, it would have happened a long time ago. If we were, if
Correct.
violence was one, it's not high on our list at all. It's a last resort. Violence in that manner, and
Yeah,
we're
it's
not.
at the
I don't think
bottom of
we're not at
Very
last resort.
fucking bottom.
We're not anywhere near now last resort. You might have to, you should be careful and protect yourself because there's crazy people out there who could just go off. But you shouldn't be
Yes.
go out looking. Don't go looking for it. Don't go down to their little protest and try to see who's willing to throw hands and then think that you're going to be the hero. That's not how it works.
Harold Rosenthal, I'm not telling you to be worried. Because if you were worried, you might actually prepare yourselves. What I'm saying is, people on our side who don't realize the kinds of people that live outside of the cities. There's a bunch of fucking edgelords on the right. There's a bunch of people who get online and they call for violence and they march through cities with these fucking gay ass masks on and they act like they're some like those people are not to be worried about. I just want you to understand. Do not worry about the Patriot Front. That's a bunch of edgelords that probably still live with their fucking parents.
Yeah, they don't have anything to lose, like Charlie did,
Right.
Please. We don't need this. We don't need calls for violence.
Not at all.
That's all I'm saying.
Right.
If I was on Rumble, I'd say some other words.
And there's a lot of guys out there, people get a fight or flight response, and there are people who are genuinely scared. They're going to say some weird, I think there's people out there that, saying brave words to them is call of violence. I remember I was in a prayer group one time. This is a little bit off topic, but this is an example. But the kid was like, somebody was asking him what do you think it means to be, brave or taking care of your family as a man, et cetera, and because it's a men's prayer group. And he says, well, it's like, if I was at the mall and somebody was like to attack my mom and I'm trained in martial arts. I'm like, all this stuff. And he's going through all this stuff about how you, and finally the pastor goes, Kung Fu just doesn't come into play that often in real life.
No,
And that's right. Violence doesn't come into play that often in real life, If you go, it doesn't have to. You go unless you go looking for it, and then or you got some whack job. Like I said, it's just not. You should be prepared, but you don't have to worry about it constantly.
Have you ever been to an FOP range?
I'm not familiar with what is an FOP range.
Fraternal Order of Police range.
No, I've never been to a fraternal order police range. I've shot at indoor ranges, and of course, we got a big family farm, so I've shot out.
So typically, they require a concealed carry license. They basically do a background check on you whenever you walk in. I'm not even allowed to go to one because I have a criminal record. But the only times I've ever been on an FOP range was when I was working with the guy for UCCSA, which is the United Concealed Carry whatever of America. And it was me taking a class from the guy, and it scared me. Because you got to understand, like, these people aren't just regular fucking folks. These are firefighters. These are police officers. All the people that you call when you need help, just remember that.
Yeah, I mean, they have.
That's all I'm saying, right? So, like, and this isn't me saying, like, oh, you better be scared. What I'm saying is, we don't fucking need calls for violence right now. We need unity. We need people to try and build fucking bridges.
That's fantastic. That's exactly what Charlie's trying to do in this video. Let's do another minute of the video. Can we do that?
Yes. That's what we need in this country right now. That's all I'm saying.
Categorizing it as something it isn't.
No, that's exactly that is like that is the charter missions.
That's not all.
Okay, so diversity, equity. So equity is outcome based. Is about making people who are of different skin colors have the same outcome, regardless whether or not they are qualified. The best example we have of this is the Students for Fair Admission Harvard Supreme Court case, where black students, they did not, literally, they could have a SAT score 300 points lesser than the Asian equivalent and still get into Harvard. That is DEI in practice. I believe when you're hiring for an organization or for a company or for whatever you are doing, you should prioritize merit and character, and race should mean nothing. We should build around things that matter and not things that don't matter.
You have to also take into the fact that black people have only been able to completely legally be able to make profit for themselves for around 60 years.
So you mean probably about 3 times your life. This is a young kid.
Yeah. He's in his 20s at the latest.
So he's saying, well, black people have only been able to do this for about this long. Okay, so since your parents were a child, you've been able to do this.
Charlie's a great comeback for this too. He goes to Jewish folks and he says, you know, Jewish folks in the Holocaust were murdered in the millions.
Yeah, 100%.
They're not out here saying, "Oh my God, all of my ability to gain wealth was absolutely snuffed out." They're saying,
"Yeah,
you know, let me figure it out. Let me find a way."
They're not saying we're all broke. We can't. We just keep committing fucking crimes out here. We can't do anything.
Since segregation ended in 1965 in the Equal Rights Act in 1965, so what you're talking. There's not.
Bring up the greater nations policies. Or the greater societies policies. That's what it was.
How did that, so let's talk about you. How did that impact you? How did something that happened 60 years ago impact your life?
It impacts me all the time.
How?
What do you, okay.
You're at Texas A&M. You're doing great.
Okay, yes, sure, yeah.
So aren't you a living example that all that's a bunch of nonsense and you could just act good and, you know, behave well and succeed?
But there's also living examples of the exact opposite. If you look in the impoverished neighborhoods in certain parts of Chicago or St. Louis, there's black communities being thrown aside because they're not getting education.
Thrown aside? Okay,
yes,
so I think we can get somewhere. Why have the black community gotten poorer since the passage of the Civil Rights Act? Tell me that.
Because of the way the culture has been perpetuated through the years.
Hold on. Think about it. So they were richer when we were segregated and more racist. America's become less racist.
What about Tulsa?
Yeah, no one's going to defend what happened in Tulsa again. But let's talk.
But
we're talking about a lot of
that
different
is an
cities. We're talking about
example
Chicago, Tulsa. But let's again. This is a very important point. Do you think the fact that 70% of black youth don't have a dad around is probably pretty important?
That's because of the culture. What I mentioned
So
earlier. That's because of the
respectfully
culture that's
allow me to interject. How does the white culture impact the fact whether or not a black dad stays around when he impregnates a
I'm not
woman?
saying it's the white culture. I'm
What
saying
is it?
The culture that has been perpetuated through the 200 years of slavery, the 100 years of segregation, and Jim Crow laws.
The marriage, so I got to interject again. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt too much. But in 1960, before the Civil Rights Act, 20% of black youth had a dad around. Now it's, 20% were single fathers, 80% had a dad around. It's been inverted. So we actually have seen black dads run away from their kids the last 60 years. Why is that?
Because of the raised incarceration rates, because of the perpetuated culture.
So how does one go to jail?
That's obvious. I'm not answering that question.
Yeah, so maybe it's because they committed crimes.
Okay, but when you're forced it's not just
Notice how he said, when you're forced. No one is fucking forced to commit a crime in this country. Nobody.
Well, Charlie had a great tactic there too. Okay, like he tied it back into the kids' initial interjection that 60 years is all we've had to build up wealth, and then Charlie went back to that and said, "Well, 60 years ago, you guys were doing a lot better than you're doing today. So what the fuck, right? That's fucking fantastic. That's brilliant debating right there,
Dude.
This is why Charlie was so effective at what he does. It's because he knew how to approach these people on their own terms and explain to them how they're terribly fucking mistaken about their assumptions.
That's the key thing right there. He was effective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And likable. So if he's, murdered, people are going to have a problem with a big problem because they're going to be like, what the heck? Like, I spoke with a couple people. They were like, well, Trump, the attempts on Trump make sense, right? Because, like, he's a political leader. Political leaders are exposed to that. He has, some pretty bad decisions that he's made in his life, right? Charlie Kirk, family man, Christian, good guy, engaging in, civil discourse. Also, people keep bringing up to me the whole thing about, like, wanting black people back into, like, the SLAVRY. Basis. I looked that up. I fact checked that. The only thing I can find is a Facebook post.
That's exactly what I've been saying. So when it comes to the difference between Trump almost getting shot and Charlie Kirk getting shot, you're going to lose every time if you're supporting Charlie Kirk, simply because, guys, please fucking be honest with me for just a second. When you think of someone of high moral character, do any of you immediately think of Trump?
No.
No.
No, not really. No.
And that's it.
He's effective as a politician, though, and my dad always told me, he said, don't vote based on whether or not you like a person. Vote based on whether or not they will do the job and do the job effectively.
He's effective as a president.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Because he gets shit done. But when we're talking about people of high moral character, would Charlie Kirk fall into that at any point? And that simply revolves around the concept of no scandals. He wasn't sending his porn videos he was making with chicks behind their backs to teenagers online. He wasn't keeping porn videos of teenagers that he had in his Discord on his computer before they were of age.
To be clear, these are allegations against Destiny, yeah?
I'm not making any allegations at all. I'm saying what he did not do.
I see what you did there. See what you did there.
Very sly. Very sly.
Okay? That's what Charlie Kirk didn't fucking do. Okay? Just to be very clear, right? No allegations at all. So when people in this country think of someone that had high moral character, they're not thinking about Trump. So when he gets shot, and I hate saying it like this, but it's just the fact of the matter, people aren't going to think of that the same way as someone like Charlie Kirk. That's why people on the left wing right now are scrambling to fucking debase his character as much as they possibly can. Because here's the thing, everybody.
They're part of the purity of it. Absolutely, they are. All
Here's
he ever
the
wanted to
thing.
do was
Just
bring
one
people to
second.
Christ
One
and
second.
bring
One
them to the
second.
truth. That was
One
it.
second, EOD. Here's the thing. Left-wing ideology revolves around an element of victimhood. Whether you are left, whether it's black people, whether it's gay people, whether it's trans people, whether it's immigrants, whether it's Islam, whether it's whatever the fuck. I mean, it revolves around the concept of victimization. And it cannot exist if there isn't someone that is being victimized. That is why there is a mass movement to try and slander this man and make him out to be someone who is an absolute scumbag. Simply because if he was a man of high moral value and he was murdered in cold blood by somebody on their side,
Which he was.
correct.
Yeah.
The opposition
He was.
has the victimization, and they cannot have that. They cannot thrive with that. They cannot live with that. That is what is going on right now.
Well, you hear it in their rhetoric every fucking time they talk. Is that the left is not capable of any wrongdoing at all. I challenge anyone in the chat, anyone on the internet, anyone on the panel to go to any leftist and ask them to denounce specifically left-wing violence. They will not fucking do it. They will say, I denounce violence on both sides. They will say, I denounce violence on the left wing and on the right wing. They will not say, I denounce left-wing violence. They will not fucking say it.
Right.
And that shit infuriates the fuck out of me.
And that's why all these politicians, you know, it was funny, dude, because I pulled this shit up on stream. It was fucking sickening. I had Barack Obama, I had Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Bernie Sanders, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Adam Schiff. I mean, like the
Who's who of
Tim Walz.
Democratic politics.
The number goes on, and they all said the exact same fucking thing. Political violence has no place in America. At one point in their tweet, almost all of them had the exact same quote. Political violence has no place in America. And it was so weird to me. This was a couple days ago. Watch the stream from a couple days ago. I pulled my X up on stream, and it was all of these left-wing politicians, all of these fucking scumbags, just posting the same shit over and over and over and over and over again. And it was like, for a second, I questioned whether Elon Musk asked them to do that for one of two reasons. To boost their profiles, or to show that they were all saying the exact same fucking thing. 'Cause you know they didn't write it. Let's be fucking honest, guys.
I prescribe to the message, as Critical Drinker would put it. I fucking love that guy.
It's like
He's
a
awesome.
Black Mirror episode, watching it play out. Like,
So this is kind of standard for that Marxist thing. When the Marxists first tried to bring, the Red Scare, all their ideas over here during the McCarthy era in that 30s and 40s and 50s, what they found out was the United States was not susceptible to class warfare because we had so much mobility between our classes. But what they did realize is that they could target identity groups, and they started targeting. That's why they got involved with. There was legitimate civil rights movement, but then they co-opted that and began to use that as a way to do that. That's why there was no solving it. Every time you made any progress, it was never enough.
Correct. And now we've gotten to the point where in one night at the same time they will all post the exact same tweet and then immediately revert to, well, he was a right winger.
These motherfuckers, dude. These motherfuckers.
Yeah,
They don't give a fuck about political violence. They care about optics. That's all they fucking care about. They care about how people see them. That's why this entire time I've been so adamant about stressing the point. It is not about let me rephrase my words here.
Uh-oh.
This is not an optics game. It's not. Because people all over the fucking country have seen the way people have reacted to this. This is not about people picking up their arms and going to civil war. Sun Tzu brought this quote up multiple times on the stream now. Sun Tzu said, never interrupt your enemy when they are making a mistake. Let them do it. Grit your teeth. Bite your tongue. Yeah, Jared, I got raided by Rob earlier. It was actually like almost 500 people. This is fucking incredible. I've never been raided by this many people before. It's insane. And everybody who's in chat right now, everyone who's watching, thank you very much for sticking around. I really appreciate it. I know some people have dropped off. I've gotten a little emotional. I'm kind of drunk right now. So
okay, well, hang on. Everybody, like and subscribe if you haven't yet. This is a good man right here. Lower class is good people's. He's based as conservative and a man of the people. I'm gonna tell you what. He reads the Bible on Sundays and talks about culture and politics and religion quite a bit. So definitely like and subscribe if you haven't yet.
Christ
Get
is
him monetized
king.
so I can throw him some of my not special Canadian coins by super chats.
Christ is king.
Christ is king.
Christ is king.
Yeah, I'll say this. As tough as it was, to question these idiots on it, because you know where it's going. As soon as they start with like, well, he said this, he said that, I'm like, okay, well, does that justify him being like, well, you have to say unalived on TikTok, right? Does that justify him being killed in front of his kids? And they just keep going on. Does that justify him being killed in cold blood in front of his kids? And eventually they say, yeah. They always say, yeah. You just have to press them just the right amount. They know their jobs are on the line because so many people have gotten fired now, as they should be, for promoting domestic terrorism.
Yeah,
100%.
These demons can't help it. They have to say who they are. They have to confess.
Sean, yes,
it's
Christ
amazing.
is God.
It's amazing. They can lie about everything else except for who they are.
Correct. They cannot be faced with the reality of what they see in the mirror. That's why they have to say, I'm actually a woman.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why they have to say I'm actually a man. No, you're
I
not.
love it.
They're trying to convince you of a lie. That's correct.
I love it when there was somebody who kept talking to left-wing women, and he'd say, "Oh, you're transsexual. I didn't realize that." And she's like, "No, I'm not transsexual." Whoa, is there something wrong with that? You see how many don't care if you think they look like a transsexual. I thought you were transsexual. I just thought that was the case.
Yeah, it's like the memes where the dude goes out and he starts like talking to liberal women and he's like, "Hey, you pass really well for a woman. When
You
was
look
it that you
just
came
like
out as transsexual?" And they get fucking they are appalled by the fact that they look like a dude that is pretending to be a woman. It's so telling.
I had a girl I worked with that got really upset when I said that I was talking about Bruce Jenner. She says, "It's Caitlyn Jenner." I said, "Oh, yeah, I keep forgetting. You look just like her, though. Did you know that?"
Oh no.
Because they were just going on about how beautiful she was. I'm like, you look just like her.
Yeah.
You could probably be her for Halloween without any makeup or anything.
I see where you're going with that, right? Because then they're gonna be like, "Well, that's rude," and then you'd be like, "Why would it be rude?"
Exactly. What do you mean?
It was
rude?
shoulder day today, wasn't it?
What do you mean?
Yeah. But
You know what I mean?
You devious motherfuckers.
Yeah.
you sit around the bar long enough, you turn into some kind of cad. That's all
Right.
right.
Oh, like a shit disturber? Yeah, that's what we call him.
Very good at that. Very good at that. You learn the gentle art of shit stirring.
They're fucking begging for it, dude. They're begging
Oh.
for it. They're begging for anybody to accept what they perceive as reality. This is the end result. What we've seen over the past week is the end result. Base LeBro game. Games. Thank you.
Yeah, the First Amendment and the similar legislation here, and this is why I was on a panel with Raging Tomato the other night about this very issue. It's not infinite. It doesn't protect things like hate speech. It doesn't protect things like inciting violence. These people want to come on and say they can go and say yeah, and I hope his wife is next, and that's free speech. Shut the fuck up.
No, that's not free speech. That's a threat. That's an actionable fucking threat at this point to a family who is in the public eye, who has had one of their own snuffed out because of these fucking demons.
Yeah. First Amendment they care about the amendments when it's convenient for them, right?
Absolutely. That's the only time it even matters. That's the only time the Constitution even enters their mind, is when they can wield it to their own purposes. Otherwise, if you want to wield it to your purpose, if you want to say that, hey, let's have some contemporary Christian values here and try to be moderate to our common man, they want to say, nah, fuck you. You eat shit. You eat shit and die because you're a fascist. You're a right-winger. You don't deserve to breathe my fucking air. That's what they fucking tell us.
Isn't the definition of fascism and all of the jazz that they hated that happened back in the heyday, isn't the definition of that unaliving people or killing them because they don't support your worldview, because you don't like the way that they want to shape the world?
That was the most extreme implementation of it, yeah.
So fascism was technically, if you want to get technical and pedantic, you can say that it was Italian. Yeah. That's where it originated under Mussolini. Right. The fasci the fasci is the Roman symbol of the state. It's a bundle of sticks with a hatchet in it, and it represents that's just what it is. And the implementation of it had to do mostly with how you organized your economic structure. And then it also meant that the state was totalitarian. That's where the first versions of that word came in. And what it meant was there was nothing outside the purview of the state. Everything was its business. Yep. Totalitarianism and fascism run hand in hand. They're twins.
Yes. Fascismo is specifically, when you really break it down to its simplest form, it is the merging of interests between corporation and government.
Yep. Yeah. So the murdering and all that stuff, that's just a downstream natural progression that happens in that. And it didn't happen everywhere. I mean, the Italians were brutal to their, they were definitely hard on their people, but you didn't have the originator of fascism didn't have like a Holocaust, so to speak. But when Germany said, hey, we want you to help us, Germany had their version of it, Nazism, National Socialism, all that stuff went together. And they didn't really necessarily stop it. They just took it as whatever. But, people tried to accuse the Pope at that period of being like pro-Nazi or whatever, but he was helping hide Jews and helping them get out.
Yeah, I just hear it used so loosely these days, and it does make me wonder. That and like obviously racism and stuff like that. I hear that.
Well, the
used very
definitions
loosely.
changed. If you look up what was in fascismo, how Mussolini structured his government, how Hitler structured his government, it's all considered classic fascism, classical fascism, Italian fascism. Fascism today has something to do with the right wing. Like, go on Wikipedia, look up Italian fascism, and then look up real or what they call fascism today. They're two different definitions. And they do that specifically because they need to break down language.
Oh yeah, 100%. Left and right is they co-opted. Originally, when left and right, when the reason Nazis always became right, they were on the left, but they were to the right of the Marxists and the communists there. So that's why they called everybody right wing. Anybody to the right of them was right wing, and they were Nazis.
Yes. The reason Mustache Man got rid of the quote unquote communists in his country, and the reason that he even went on the Eastern Front, and I'm not defending the guy, this is just history, is because there were Russian communists who were coming into Germany and they were standing in the streets waving signs talking about communism, and it was rising up a movement in the country. That was the whole thing behind it. Yeah. That's why he sent people out to the Eastern Front, which was before the Western Front.
Yeah, I've heard some really loose motivations with that when they were saying that the communists wanted worldwide, no states, no nationalism, worldwide communism, and then you had Hitler and Mussolini wanted national communism, national socialism.
Yeah, yes, because communism can't work if it's only national. It has to be.
It doesn't work at all.
Absolute.
Man. It doesn't work.
Right.
No. The only way communism works is in small communities. Here, I'll tell you this, brother. That's about as far in that video as I wanted to go. If you want to continue with it, I'm all for it. I've seen the whole thing. It's fantastic, but I'm good with that. So.
In the past, this doesn't affect you anymore.
Okay, so actually, let's take a different group. How did the Holocaust?
I didn't mean you had to play it. I'm telling you that we can just turn it off and like continue our conversation. That's what I was trying to say.
Give me just a minute. I gotta use the bathroom, but we'll go ahead and let this play for a second.
Okay.
Jews, they're doing pretty well.
Well, because
I'm
they
gonna
got
have to roll out
reparations, we did.
How?
I've got
reparations
some, I can hear
Jews
bumping around upstairs. So
acknowledgement?
people are getting up and getting kind of restless, so I have to keep an eye on those folks. But hey, thanks for inviting me, OD, and I appreciate you letting me hang out with you, lower class. It was good times.
Hey, dude, thanks for being on, man. I appreciate you coming in tonight, bro. Come in whenever you want.
I'm gonna DM you about gaming though. If you want to game some, let me know, man. I'd love to have a sit in.
He's interested in D&D lower class, so it's like if we could get both you guys in on the game, that'd be fucking awesome. So.
Oh yeah, I would have a blast. It's a great way to relax.
It really is, bro. Hey, tomorrow we're still doing that, right?
Yeah, Wednesday 10 o'clock. We're still doing campaign 2. So y'all
10 o'clock Eastern, gentlemen. This was a point of contention apparently.
Well, it's only a point of contention because you don't realize the only time zone that matters is Eastern time zone. So,
add lady. There's one lady.
10 o'clock Central, gentlemen. That's when we're doing D&D.
No, it's Eastern.
I'm Eastern too. I'm Eastern too. See, it's meant to be. I'm Eastern too, so we're good.
All right.
Yeah, 10 o'clock Eastern, guys. All right, I'm gonna play this for a second. I gotta use the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Okay. Have a great night, guys. I'll catch y'all later.
Cheers, man.
Hey, brother. Thank you, man. I appreciate you jumping in tonight. You're a legend.
Cost was 80 years ago.
There you go.
Half of all the Jews on the planet were killed.
I think it'll just be you in
Everything
lower
they
class
earned was
unless you're heading
taken.
out too,
Jews are doing great.
EOD.
If all of a sudden something that happened 80 years ago impacts your material prosperity, how did Jews defy the curve? How did poor Asians do so well? Why is it that Asians are now the wealthiest minority in America, many of whom came with no money in the 1950s or 60s?
Because of the culture and opportunities that were provided to them.
But you're not hearing me out. Black Americans have had the same opportunities. However,
But people still look at us like criminals every day.
Hold on, but like, I don't look at you like a criminal.
I'm not saying
but,
you do,
but
I'm saying some people do.
But I mean, do you want me to be brutally honest with you, or do you want me to be politically correct?
Brutally honest with you.
Okay, do black people commit more crimes than white people? It's not even close.
Okay, but you have to take into account the culture that has been perpetuated.
Okay, got it. So we can agree on this. Do you mean internal black culture?
It's deeper than that. Like,
do you think, let's take time out. Do you think the average rap artist that a black kid in the hood is listening to is glorifying marriage and family and saving your money?
That's what sells because it's a culture thing. It's not just within the black community.
I agree. No, but hold on.
Everyone listens to it. It's not just isolated.
It's bad for everyone who listens to it. The point being is that black youth, as they are being raised, their role models are largely not glorifying staying with one woman, getting married, going to church. And if you're wrong, show me the black role models that are doing that. There might be a couple I could think of, maybe. But if it's about culture, you're right. The internal black culture has collapsed the last 60 years. We're no longer elevating the family. We're no longer elevating staying with the person that you're with. So our contention here as conservatives is that the systemic racism stuff is a bunch of rubbish. Instead, it's systemic bad choices.
Do you feel that systemic racism isn't real?
Of course not. What can I do that you can't do? Name it.
Okay.
No, seriously. What can I do that you can't do?
That's a slippery slope.
No, it's not.
I don't know why.
Very simple.
I fucking love that question. That was perfect. That was fucking perfect.
Again, very simply, they have to be victims. There cannot be an element of self-accountability, looking in the mirror and going, I am causing the issues in my life. That cannot exist on the left.
Here's the thing: is that kid doesn't have any issues. That kid doesn't have any fucking issues at all. He's going to college. He's making a life for himself. He's creating a foundation for his life right now. He is living the American dream, and he wants to sit here and say, "Oh no, somehow I'm disadvantaged because of my race."
Correct.
That's what Charlie's challenging him on.
Who told him that?
Right. Fucking Al Sharpton. Fucking MSNBC, fucking Rachel Madcow. These propagandists on the left bleed this poison into their minds, and then they just start regurgitating it, saying that it's the truth.
Yes. And that's exactly the way they kept them in chains in the 1800s. You can't leave the plantation.
I'll never fucking forget that quote from Joe Biden. They will put you all back in chains, he said.
Correct.
Fuck you, Joe Biden. That's exactly what you're fucking doing. That's exactly what your party is fucking guilty of. It's telling these people that they're somehow less than when they're perfectly capable.
Correct. Everyone is perfectly capable. And they can't get around that. Every time you try to say that, they'll say the same thing. And this is one thing I've gone into. I've gone in with Radical Coder multiple times on this. You cannot escape the fact that when you tell people they are disenfranchised by society, that no one will accept them in society, that everyone hates them in society, all this fucking trash, that you are also telling them they are incapable of taking responsibility for themselves. That's why, it really fucking like burns me that people like Oprah Winfrey That bitch made fucking billions of dollars on her own.
You get a car, and you get a car, and you get a car, and you get a car. You remember that time she fucking gave cars to everybody in the fucking audience? You think
They
that's because
know
she was a
that.
disadvantaged person because of her fucking race? Give me a fucking break.
They know that. They know it. And what's fucking sickening to me is it's on site for everyone to see, but nobody wants to see it. I don't want to say nobody, but nobody that believes their ideas wants to see it.
No, because it challenges the narrative. It challenges this fairy tale that they've told themselves every night for the past fucking however many years it's been since Donald Trump was elected the first time. It's that the right is evil, and everyone who supports Donald Trump is an evil piece of shit, and they all deserve death.
And
Every
then you
single
have
one of them.
black politicians getting elected into the highest office in the world.
Sure.
I mean, let's just
Barack
be honest
Obama,
here.
Clarence Thomas, fucking Sotomayor, okay,
Scott.
Condoleezza Rice, Colin Powell. Give me a fucking break with this bullshit. Telling me that somehow you people aren't allowed into positions of power. That's garbage.
Yep. No matter what the left tells any black person that is watching this right now, which I'm at a hard suggestion that there's none. No matter what the left tells you, you're capable of doing whatever you put your mind to. You're capable of doing whatever you practice discipline towards. You're capable of doing unimaginable things through Christ.
Achieving whatever dream you have in your mind. You know?
But there has to be a level of self accountability. There has to be a level of looking at yourself in the mirror and understanding that you are the one who is in charge of what happens from here on. Get with Christ. Go to church. Jesus will show you all of these things. And in the meantime, chase your dreams. Do everything that you believe that you could possibly do to build a family. Because fucking a woman and making her pregnant is not building a family. But setting the cornerstone into place for the arch that you and your family will walk through. That's building a family. That's being able to look 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years down the future, looking back and going, man, I did something really good then.
Do you wanna bring on Teriak?
Oh, Teriak's here. There
He's
he
not
is.
here. He's not here. I'm just asking if you want to bring him on after you're looking to close out.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, all right. Here, Teriak. That's the Discord.
It's also pinned in chat, brother.
Why not? I like Teriak. It's getting a little bit late for me though. I think I'm gonna have to go soon.
Yeah, I might close it out here in a bit. I really I'm scared for where we're headed, man.
Me too. You know, me too. And I want things to calm down. I really do. And I'm tired. I'm sick of this shit where there's Teriak. I'll bring him in. Yeah, you got him.
What's up, brother?
Wagwan.
Welcome in.
Has there been any updates?
Been any updates on what? Teriak, you here?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I might have been muted. Has there been any updates with the charity thing?
There's
No.
been some text messages that come out about the killer, yeah. But other than that, no. What updates are you looking for?
No, I seen like something with the meshes, whatever. I thought it was a manifesto or something shit like that.
Yeah.
A little bit. It was an exchange between him and his trans lover about, I don't want you to be involved in this and that and the other thing, and I admit to it completely. So it's like it's an open and shut case at this point. There's an open admission in the text messages. So
Yeah. Like I'm gonna be doing a stream on Friday where this gym is gonna like outline, okay, here are our possible options. But I'm gonna be doing it in a way of like, best way to explain this, like it's going to be kind of like the 100% truth. This is what like we're in at the moment, gentlemen. This is not like fear porn. This is nothing like that. But like I said, like I see a winnable situation. Might take a lot, but it's winnable. You know what I'm saying?
Gonna take a lot of biting of tongues, bro, because there's a bunch of fucking edgelords out there that are trying to incite civil war on the right now. And
Bro,
that's intolerable.
yes.
it's like even some of the reporters, the people with this job and good night San Diego, like the people who speak with that voice, like the fake fucks.
Yeah.
Like even some of them, man, like from the left wing outlets, it's like, bro, like what are you doing? Like you really should inciting this. Have you seen the Sam Hyde video?
I was thinking
This
about
is
watching
you.
that tonight, but I might end up just watching that tomorrow.
It's
'Cause,
excellent, man. It's worth watching, but it opens with
Mhm.
Charlie's death being explicitly, on camera, and he's like, "You need to fucking see this shit. This is part of it. This is who you
I
are.
mean-
This is you. They want this to happen to you."
He's not lying.
Yep.
He's
You know
not
what I mean? And
lying.
don't get me wrong, like I know he's like Mr. Funny Man, all this kind of stuff, but it's like there's a lot of people who like think exactly like him, who are like not like that funny about it. They're like, no, this needs to be dressed, all this kind of shit. Keep an eye on that. But yeah, for example, think about like Jordan Peterson, and if he was heading the movement, what direction he would go versus, Sam Hyde, Nick Fuente, even Milo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm kind of saying. It's like I understand like a lot of like the left wing people trying to calm right wing people down, but the right wing could handle this 100% perfect, and you still have more reaction from the left wing because they know they're losing, they're panicking. The youth is completely swayed back conservative.
Well,
You know what I mean?
they've been building this activist class for 20 years now. So
Yep, and it's still was being stopped by Charlie. Like this whole like communist fucking like takeover that they've been trying to do for decades. And that's what you have to remember here, fellas. That's why they shot him. Jews were winning.
because we were winning, not careful with the damn enunciation there.
Wait, what did I say?
You said you z, but
Okay.
you said it with a J. So
Okay. But no, but real talk though. Just like think about the situation you're in. If you guys were actually irrelevant and like this was like you were losing all this kind of shit, they wouldn't have done this.
Right. 100%. I agree. If there wasn't an ongoing battle for the culture war, especially in the marketplace of ideas, this would not have happened. But there was just overwhelming victory over overwhelming victory. And what scares me is the fact that it came to this, and there are people actively calling for escalation of everything.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's fucking
And
terrifying to me.
edgelords and people desecrating any Charlie memorials, all this kind of shit. There's going to be all that shit, boys. But like I said, that's what separate the men from the boys, being able to stomach that shit. And like I said, in terms of from our aspect, it's like, okay, I don't know if you've seen some of the videos. Some of them, like with the face that they're making, it's like, holy shit, like this is literally like ghoul / like fucking zombie / like demon possessed bitch kind of thing. Like that's basically where you have to have the courage to resolve and say, bitch, get the fuck in the van. You're going to a mental institution.
I'm not even
You know what I mean?
talking.
Yeah,
I'm not even talking about the left wingers here. It's the right wing people
Oh yeah.
that all of a sudden they're fucking emboldened to start talking about shit like this. And most of them are a bunch of bitches, and they're acting like they're part of some, well, I'm in the underground far right wing movement. They should be bitch slapped harder than anybody on the left.
Yep.
And I know that sounds bad, but it needs to happen. Anybody, I mean this, and I've been saying this since the very beginning, anybody that is calling for an escalation to this wants nothing more than the destruction of our country. They're the enemy. Just as much as these fucking psychos on the left are. Just as much.
100%.
I'm just so fucking tired of these people, dude. I was on Dusty's panel last night, and like to save myself from using a TOS unfriendly word, this fucking pussy jumped up and had to make himself heard. He had to try and get a little bit of attention. And he called himself far right and said, "We are ready to fight." I implore y'all to watch Dusty's stream last night. I was very frank with the guy. And he shut his fucking mouth after that. People don't realize, and I'm not trying to convince anybody here. You don't have to believe me. I don't care. There are people in this country right now, almost every day, they train their shots. They're fucking prepared for it.
like a sex on the beach, or a shot of whiskey or something. Yeah.
Right. And I'm not trying to come at this. Oh, hey, Hatch. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it, man. Thank you, Michael. You're a legend, dude. Thank you very much. That's great, dude. Thank you. Thank you. By the way, everybody, just want to say, so are we not men? I understand you guys got beef. I get it. You're my homie. I'm gonna stand by you. Don't worry. But Dusty is also a friend of the channel. I get where it comes from. You know what I mean? I know you guys got beef. I'm not gonna get involved with that at all.
Why does everyone on the fucking internet hate Are We Not Men?
I have no idea, bro.
Stop fucking poking the bear, bro. Shit.
Are We Not Men's my fucking homie. I have no issue saying that.
Well, here I'll tell you this is I don't have anywhere near the amount of love for Dusty as I do for some people, but I'll say that.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that really don't like Dusty. There's a lot of people that really don't like Are We Not Men. Um, I maybe I get along with people that lots of people don't like. I don't know. That might be it. That might have something to do with it, you know. But I stand by my homies, dude. You know what I mean? Um,
I hear that.
that's really what it comes down to. So, you know, I stand by Are We Not Men. I stand by Dusty. I stand by you, EOD. No matter how many people don't like you.
Let me make this unequivocally clear: as I stand by our men as well. So.
I stand by Gingers too.
EOD, by the way, I was just kidding about that. I hope you realize.
I'm not a ginger.
Nobody has ever said anything bad to me about you. You're a great dude, man.
That's awesome. Well, Steelman has, but you know that's neither here nor there.
Who cares what he says? You know
Bro,
what I mean?
like literally, like after he won VK, like I thought I was like, okay, finally, like he's like, oh, he was saying it's like, oh, like I want to go after your mods, all this kind of shit. Literally the very next fucking Friday he's on. Fuck you, William. It's like, Jesus Christ, bro, come on, like. But it's like he just has like a problem with any authority. You know what I mean? So like he hates by definition every single mod on YouTube. There's not a single mod he likes.
Chase, by the way,
I know.
I agree. I am a little too drunk, and I'm probably repeating myself a little too much. Maybe I should end the stream here a little early, but I do want to let the conversation evolve a little bit. So, go ahead. My bad, guys. Didn't mean to cut you off.
No, bro. I was kind of thinking the same thing. It's late for me. It's late for you. You're awfully tired. So.
Yeah, it's almost 5. What time is it for you over there in Ireland, Terry?
It's about 10:30 in the morning.
Shit.
I just woke up, so
It's almost 5 a.m. here.
Yeah.
Well,
It's probably time to shut it down. Terry, are you live, brother?
no.
No.
well, if you were, I could get a raid you. I don't have enough
Grump,
subs to actual raid, but
Grumple's live now if you want to raid over to him.
Oh yeah, that's cool. I like Grump. The thing is, finding Grumple's fucking channel is a goddamn challenge because of the way he spells his stupid name.
Yeah, bro. So I'll put in the side chat.
Okay, hold on. I have it in my Discord. I'll find it. Yeah, there, and then it's right there. That's it.
post that shit in chat. That way we can have everyone raid him.
There you go.
There you go. Good spam. Good spam, EOD. Good spam. All right, guys. We're going over to Grumple's stream. We're going to show him some love. Give him a like. Give him a sub. He deserves it. He's a member of our armed forces. He criticizes my salute
Marine Corps.
every time I do it.
He's a Marine. Yeah.
He is.
So post crayons in chat. Post crayons in chat for
Yeah.
Grumple Still.
He's
Hell
a
yeah,
fucking
brother.
crayon eater.
Hoorah.
All right, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. I hope you all have a great night. Please, I'm going to leave the stream going for a couple seconds. Please go to Grumple Streams. Okay? Yes, Mr. Fisty, you're correct. Grumple's sleep streams are much better than mine because I always cam down before I fucking pass out. That's how it goes. So,
My man.
yeah. I try to have a little tact. Tact is not good. You know what I mean? Anyway.
Make it to the bed tonight. Come on.
Right. No, I will. Trust me. Yeah. Anyway, gentlemen, thank you all very much. It's been a pleasure. EOD, Teriak, thank you guys for jumping in tonight. Teriak, I'm sorry I'm ending it so early.
Yeah, no worries.
I got a little sauced on the brokers, man. It just is what it is, dude.
Yeah, no, we just send them over the Grumper, and then like I said, the pressure's off when you're chilling on someone else's panel as well. So hop over to Grumpus or whatever.
All right, guys, go give Grumple some love, man. I wish I could actually just rate him, but I can't do that yet. If you sub, if as many people are watching right now, if everyone here subs, that will almost get me monetized. So please, guys, if you're listening and you're not just letting videos roll, give me a sub. It would help greatly. I don't need I don't need money or anything like that. Just shoot me a sub and we'll figure things out moving forward. But guys, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Teriak, EOD, always a pleasure talking with you guys. Y'all have a wonderful evening. I am going to fucking sleep, brother. Y'all have a good night.
Cheers, man. Thanks for having us. Cheers, Teriak. It's good seeing you.
Of course, brother. Peace.